Dear viewers, welcome to the Roundup, the 50th one, covering pretty much whatever I feel like, but mostly ARPGs and indie games for the PC. It is the autumn Steam sale, which means cheap games and devs begging for you to nominate them for the Steam Awards. There is some news too, thanks for joining. Let's dive right in. Starting with reveals and announcements. The last Epoch hype train has started to hit the pedals. In case trains have pedals, I don't know actually. Anyway, December 10th, new patch, and I'll just go over some of the teased things last week. We are getting a new rogue skill, Umbral Blades. At first glance, this is just a rip-off from steel skills in Path of Exile, but that is only on surface level. The skill utilizes blades you can throw and then recall, like a steel skill. However, last Epoch differentiates itself from other games with the unique skill trees, and Umbral Blades is no exception. You can modify the skill heavily, as shown in some of the examples over here, to make it feel unique. Another massive overhaul is crafting. In a complete rework, the devs aim to remove the negative feel-bad moments, all the fractures, while emphasizing the positives. They're adding some interesting crafting items as well, which are directly borrowed from a PoE, but that's fine. If you're familiar with that one, last Epoch gets a Trash to Treasure prophecy, split beasts and exalted orbs. Overall, I'll be doing quite a bit of crafting with the new system, and I will provide feedback. Maybe make some guides as well if I really like the system. There will be a staves rework as well, but I don't find that particularly newsworthy. What is newsworthy, I think, is that Grinding Gear Games was founded 15 years ago, which has ultimately led to the hallmark of current-day ARPGs. It is a massive achievement, and the success of Path of Exile is well deserved. To celebrate, there is a ton of items on sale in the cosmetic shop, so if you want to support GGG and get some cool MTX at the same time, now is a good time. The early access release of Falling Frontier has been delayed to Q2 2022. Falling Frontier is a sci-fi RTS game featuring a massively procedurally generated star system where you can design ships and raid enemy supply lines, lay minefields and construct recon stations and ambush enemy forces within asteroid fields and nebulae. The delay was accompanied by a trailer, which you're seeing here, where solo dev Todd Darcy provides more details about a certain mission type. You can get a sense of how detailed and vast this game is, which is impressive and tricky at the same time. Solo dev games of this magnitude are just really hard to pull off, which is probably the main reason for the delay. I hope he pulls through and keeps finding the motivation and funds to get the game into early access, because this game would be a welcome addition to the genre by the looks of it. Anvil released an intro trailer. The sci-fi top-down twin-stick shooter is releasing next week into early access, and this already provides a taste of what we're going to get. I will say that the quality of this trailer is pretty decent. It looks slick, although in-game rendered, but still, it's got professionally sounding voice acting. The story is even somewhat intriguing, and that is a good sign. I played the demo already, it has potential for sure, and I'm overall curious how this will be received. Legend of Keepers announced a new DLC, Feed the Troll. Just wanted to mention this game because it's worth it. This indie dungeon master is a small hidden gem and it's actually quite addictive and a ton of fun to play. Next to the new DLC, which brings a new master, new monsters, new game mechanics and more, there is free stuff too. The Wrath of Draconids update is now available and includes 11 new monsters, 2 new traps and 3 new artifacts, as well as new missions for each master. You can get the game for €10 in the sale, which is definitely worth it. Chivalry 2, the medieval slasher that honestly never gets old, has one more release coming up this year. Since its launch, the game has been constantly updated with new maps, new weapons, customization options and several events. For December 2021, the devs are planning a Christmas event, adding a new weapon, the Warbow, create a new brawl map and add more character customization. It's a great game, this one. Black SKYLANDS, the indie top-down twin-stick pixel art adventure game that I really enjoyed playing, released their updated roadmap. There is some interesting stuff in here for this early access game. Next month we're getting the Ice Kraken, which, brings an Ice Kraken to the game. This content update includes a random encounter system for when you are exploring with your airship. I suppose the Ice Kraken might be one of those. And the highly requested feature, escort missions, makes it into the game. Are you guys nuts? Who is requesting escort missions? Escort missions are one of the worst things in games, period. But okay. Next to this, expect gear improvements, including passive and active skills on gear for you and your ship. There will be quality of life features, of course, and finally, looking at the roadmap, I think it's interesting to see that the game is expected to release in August 2022. Encased, the science fiction post-apocalyptic turn-based adventure game, basically Baldur's Gate in space, announced another update for this year. In December, expect a content patch with new locations, enemies, battles, gear and more. Next to that, gamepad support for the PC. The devs worked hard on mapping the interface and making it playable with the controller, and it's a good game for that. Just sit back, explore, do some turn-based combat. I'm wondering how clunky it will be, as typically you still need to target a lot, select a bunch of skills, but hopefully it's playable enough and people can play this awesome game the way they prefer. Here's something interesting for you. Trash Sailors. Just look at this new trailer. Doesn't this look like a cool game? Trash Sailors is a hand-drawn sailing simulator with co-op for up to 4 players. Create the trashiest sailing team in history, fight with monsters and trash your friendship. Just wanted to show you this one. It releases the 16th of December. Then the Patch Plaza with an overview of patch news. Valheim, one of the best indie games of the year, even just any game of the year, released a small content patch adding a new monster to the swamp, which provides material to craft a new armor set. Furthermore, they are teasing yet again the new biome, Mistland, which looks eerie, and there are talks about adding caves to the mountain biomes, which probably contain a bunch of wolves. Good stuff. Dice Legacy, an indie RTS game using dice as your main source to influence the game, gets its second major update. Apart from some balancing changes, there will be an entire new game mode called Forging a Realm. The regular game plays more like a traditional RTS where the AI is invading and you have to survive the winters like in Frostpunk or in Banished. You are using and rolling your dice to make that happen. In Forging a Realm, the focus is on the demands of your citizens, which are basically your dice. They will give various demands which you have to meet. Do so and you gain confidence, which is required to win the game mode. Fail their demands and you lost depending on the difficulty. It should trigger a different way of playing. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice had a PC update. The devs added ray tracing, DLSS, AMD FSR and DirectX 12 support. Next to this, expect more accessibility options like key rebinding and options for color blindness. Tavern Master, a cute little indie game I reviewed last week, received a small content update. This patch brings spiral stairs, a reworked kitchen menu which lets you select and deselect food types, which is very useful for completing certain quests, and the hotel rooms now generate more revenue. Amazing game, this one. Would recommend. Time to release some games, starting with what recently released. Lands Island, I reported on last week, does so far pretty good. This exploration survival game just looks wonderful and brings many different elements together in a vibrant adventure. While only in early access for one day, the Steam reviews so far look promising with an 85% user score. I'm going to check this one out at some point as well. Then upcoming releases. December 2nd, Anvil releases into early access a top-down sci-fi twin-stick shooter. Take on the role of a vault breaker in search of alien artifacts called vaults and fight against monsters and powerful bosses. You can strengthen your breakers to explore the farthest galaxy that no one has ever reached. I already talked about this game in the episode, I'm looking forward to it. Also December 2nd, Solar Ash releases, exclusively on Epic. Journey through a surreal, vivid and highly stylized world filled with mystery, wild high-speed traversal and daring characters and massive enemy encounters. This game is something else, just look at this trailer. I'll be taking 2 weeks off at the end of the year and this is definitely on my to-play list. December 3rd, Chorus enters orbit. This single-player space shooter by Deep Silver Fish Labs looks somewhat promising actually. Take control of Nera on a quest to destroy the dark cult that created her. Unlock devastating weapons and mind-bending abilities in an evolution of the space combat shooter, along with Forsaken, her sentient starfighting ship. Explore ancient temples, engage in zero-G combat and venture beyond waking reality. Time for some personal updates. What have I been up to? Well, I got a Game Pass subscription again, and now that I am mostly done with PoE 24/7, I'm diving into a bunch of other games, and as you noticed, I'm making some content again. I played quite a bit of Forza 5 on my massive ultra widescreen, and it looks and runs fabulous. It's a true piece of art, honestly, and a fun racing game altogether. Next to that, I invested some time in Outriders to check out the full game for the first time and see the new updates for myself. The game overall feels great, I must say. The campaign is still buggy with non-functional quest markers, NPCs disappearing all the time and a horrible mini-map, but the combat is super fun, weapons feel good and the loot and affixes are interesting. I completed the entire campaign and all the side missions and now I'm running expeditions. I'm at tier 7 currently, just farming some more gear to take on higher challenges. It's a great game. Both Forza 5 and Outriders are available on Game Pass, by the way. I played Dice Legacy as well. It is an okay RTS game with the dice. I mentioned it already today. I might make a dedicated video about it if I can find the words to describe this game. It's just a really middle of the pack game, according to me at least, and the mixed reviews on Steam seem an accurate representation. And that's it, the 50th roundup. If you have any questions or remarks, put them in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, you want more like this, consider liking the video or even subscribing. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.